My name is Shelby Lopez, and I'm 32 years old. By the time that Christmas rolled around, I thought I'd gotten pretty good at pretending my family didn't hurt me. Christmas dinner at my parents' house looked perfect on the surface. The table was still set with Mom's good china, the smell of turkey and stuffing clung to the air, and everyone had that sleepy, overfed glaze in their eyes. Emily, my younger sister, was curled up in an armchair with a mug of coffee. My older brother, Kyle, was in the corner talking to Uncle Jim about football like they did every single year. Aunts, uncles, cousins, they were all scattered around the living room, balancing plates of pie on their knees, laughing at jokes that weren't that funny. We were the kind of family that gathered once or twice a year so we could pretend we were closer than we actually were. I sat on the edge of the sofa, coffee cooling in my hand, trying not to fidget. Mom, Patricia, was in her element. She stood near the lamp, phone in hand, swiping through photos and narrating like she was hosting a slideshow. "This was Florida," she said. "Look, Tom, remember this sunset? And here's the new patio furniture. Oh, this is the garden after I redid the whole left side. The hydrangeas finally bloomed." She sounded so happy, so satisfied, like life had been one long, mildly stressful, but ultimately pleasant Pinterest board. I wasn't really listening until she swiped again, and the room shifted for me. She paused on an old photo and smiled, that soft, nostalgic smile people get when they land on a memory that feels warm and safe. "Oh," she said, almost to herself at first. "Remember Bella?" My chest tightened so fast it felt like someone had jammed a fist between my ribs. On the screen was my golden retriever. Big brown eyes, floppy ears, fur like pale honey. She looked like she'd jumped straight out of my heart and onto the phone. I forgot to breathe for a second. Emily leaned over from her chair. "Aw, Bella," she said. "She was such a good girl." Mom turned the phone so a few people around her could see. "She really was. We had to rehome her while Shelby was away," she said lightly. "But I'm sure she's thriving wherever she is." That word, thriving, hit me like a slap. I took a slow sip of coffee and let the moment stretch. The clinking of forks, the hum of small talk, the TV murmuring in the background. It all seemed to fade out. "Yeah," I said, keeping my voice neutral. "She is." Mom looked up at me, puzzled. "What?" "She's thriving," I repeated. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. "I know, because I got her back last year. She's at my house right now." Everything near us went still. Uncle Jim was still murmuring to Kyle in the corner, but their words blurred into background noise. The space around Mom and me froze, like someone had pressed pause on the world. Mom blinked. "What do you mean you got her back?" she asked. There was a nervous laugh hanging at the edge of her voice, like she fully expected this to be a weird joke. I said quietly, "I found her, and I brought her home." Emily leaned forward in her chair, her eyes wide. "How?" she asked. "How did you even find her after all this time?" I stared at my mother for a beat. She was still holding the phone, the old photo of Bella glowing between us like an accusation. "I hired someone," I said, "a private investigator. It took 8 months, but we found her." The color drained from Mom's face. Her fingers tightened around the phone. "Where was she?" she whispered. I let myself look at her, really look at her. My mother in her soft Christmas sweater, the woman who made Pinterest-perfect dinners and posted inspirational quotes about family on Facebook. And then very calmly I said, "At a shelter, 2 hours from here." "A shelter?" Her voice wobbled. No, that can't be right. We gave her to a family, with kids, a big yard. We told you, you remember." I remembered every single detail like it had happened yesterday instead of 5 years ago. I remembered the panic in my chest when she'd called me in Seattle and said Bella was too much work. I remembered begging. I remembered the dial tone. I swallowed. "No, Mom," I said softly. "You didn't." She stared at me like I'd started speaking another language. Emily looked between us, nervous. "Shelby, what are you talking about?" I pulled my phone out of my pocket and turned it over in my hand. On it was a folder I'd kept for a year. Shelter records, rescue notes, the intake form with my mother's full name and signature. I hadn't been sure I'd ever use them. I thought maybe I'd just carry the truth around quietly until the day it didn't matter anymore. But then Mom smiled at Bella's photo and claimed she'd rehomed her kindly, like she hadn't done something unforgivable. I knew it was time. "Let me back up," I said, my voice surprisingly steady, "since everyone seems to have forgotten the details." I leaned back, staring at the lights on the Christmas tree, and let myself slide into the past. 5 years ago, I got the kind of call people dream about. A software company in Seattle wanted me for a 6-month contract with the possibility of a permanent position. Big opportunity, bigger paycheck, a chance to get out of my tiny apartment and off the hamster wheel I'd been running on since college. There was just one problem: Bella. She'd been mine since she was 8 weeks old. I'd raised her, trained her, slept on the floor with her when she was a puppy, whining at 3 a.m. She was my shadow, my alarm clock, my couch buddy, my reason to get out of bed on days when everything felt pointless. She was family. The company housing I was given in Seattle didn't allow pets. No exceptions, the HR woman had said, like she'd been asked this 100 times before. 6 months, no dogs. I researched boarding facilities, but 6 months of boarding cost more than I could afford, even with the new salary. I ran numbers, made spreadsheets, tried to make it work. It didn't. So I did what everyone told me was reasonable. I asked my parents. We were in their kitchen when I brought it up. Mom was cutting vegetables. Dad was scrolling on his phone. Just 6 months, I'd said, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee so I wouldn't fidget. My contract ends in June. I'll come back for her as soon as I can. I swear. Mom had smiled at me, that warm, reassuring smile that had convinced me of a lot of things over the years. Of course, honey, she said. She'll be fine here. We love Bella. Dad nodded. We'll take good care of her. Don't worry about it. Focus on your job. I'd exhaled in relief. Thank you. Seriously, I couldn't take the job if I didn't know she was okay. Mom reached out and squeezed my arm. We're happy to help. We're family. That word again, family. I left for Seattle a week later. Bella watched me pack my suitcase, head tilted, ears twitching. She didn't know that when I kissed her nose goodbye at the door and told her I'd be back before summer, it was going to turn into a 5-year wound. From Seattle, I called every week. How's Bella? Was always my first question. She's doing great, Mom would say. She misses you, but she's adjusting. Don't worry. I did worry, of course, but I believed her. 3 months in, Mom called me out of the blue. No greeting, no small talk, just tension in her voice. Shelby, we need to talk about Bella. My stomach dropped. What's wrong? Is she sick? No, nothing like that, she said quickly. She's just a lot. The shedding is everywhere. She needs walks twice a day. Your father's back is acting up. It's too much for us. I was standing in the break room at work, phone pressed to my ear, heart racing. Mom, I'll be back in 3 months, I said. Just 3 more months, please. We can't wait that long, she insisted. We found her a new home, a young couple with kids, big backyard. She'll be so much happier. What? I remember my voice cracking. No, she's my dog. You can't just... You left her with us, Mom said, suddenly sharp. We're doing our best, but it's not sustainable. This is better for everyone. Please, I begged, pacing. Just hold off. Let me talk to them, at least. Get their contact information. I want updates, photos, something. We'll pass along your number, she said. I'm sure they'll send updates. I have to go. We'll talk later. And then she hung up. I called back immediately. Voicemail. I texted, no response. I called the next day, and the next. Finally, Dad answered. Your mother made the right decision, he said. The dog was stressed. We were stressed. This is better for everyone. She's my dog, I said. You had one job. Just keep her safe until I came back. Then you shouldn't have left her, he replied. That sentence still echoes sometimes, even now. I took emergency leave and flew home that weekend. Showed up at their house, heart hammering, hoping maybe she was still there. She wasn't. The family picked her up yesterday, Mom said, like it was nothing. I'm sorry, honey. It all happened fast. They were so excited to have her. Who? I asked. Where? Can I have their number? Their address? Anything? I don't have it, she said. They were friends of a friend. Very trustworthy. What friend? I don't remember. Someone from church, I think. I searched anyway. I called every shelter within a 50-mile radius, posted on social media, on lost dog groups, on Craigslist. I put up digital missing posters even though technically she wasn't lost. She'd been given away. No one called, no one emailed, no one sent a single update. Eventually, I went back to Seattle. I finished the contract. I came home 6 months later, asked again about the mysterious family with kids. I'm sure she's fine, Mom said. They seemed lovely, probably just busy. You know how people are. I tried to move on. I even adopted another dog a year later, Murphy, a sweet rescue mutt who deserved a home. He was a good dog, but he wasn't Bella. And no matter how much time passed, I never completely stopped wondering where she was, if she was okay, if she thought I'd abandoned her. For a while, the act of searching faded, but the wondering never did. Not until 2 years ago, when I finally had enough money and stability to ask the question I'd been afraid to ask. What if I hired someone who actually knew how to find her? Someone whose entire job was tracking down animals that people had lost or thrown away. So I did. I found a private investigator who specialized in lost pets. I sent her everything I had: photos of Bella, my parents' address, the approximate date my parents had rehomed her, vet records with my name on them. "I'll be honest with you," she'd said. "After 5 years, the chances are slim, but I'll do what I can." She charged me $3,000 up front. I paid it without flinching. If Mom's story was true, if Bella had ended up with some loving family in a suburban dream house, this would be an expensive dead end. But somewhere deep in my gut, a small, stubborn voice whispered that my mother had not told me the truth. And it turned out that voice was right. When the private investigator finally called me 8 months later, I was sitting at my kitchen table, half awake, sipping lukewarm coffee and trying to convince myself that hope wasn't a form of self-harm. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. It could have been spam, or worse, another recruiter trying to pull me into a job that would eat my life again. But something in my chest tightened, and I picked up. "Shelby Lopez? Yes? This is Dana, the investigator you hired, about your dog." My heart didn't just stop. It lurched, like it was trying to leap up my throat. "I found something," she said. I swear the world went silent. What did you find?" I whispered. "A golden retriever named Bella. Intake records match the timeline you gave me." My breath hitched. "Where?" "A county shelter, about 2 hours from your parents' address." The word shelter punched me, hard. For a moment I thought I misheard. Shelter?" "Yes." "But my mother said—" "I know," Dana said gently. "But Shelby, there's more." I braced myself, fingers digging into the edge of my table. "Tell me." She was surrendered, not found, not transferred. Surrendered by an owner. My stomach twisted. "Who signed the surrender?" I asked, even though something inside me already knew. Dana exhaled slowly. "I'm emailing you a copy right now." My laptop pinged. I opened the file. "Patricia Lopez, owner, cannot keep. Signature. Clear, unmistakable." I let out a sound I didn't recognize. Not a gasp, not a sob. Something hollow, like a crack in a foundation. Dana kept talking, voice steady. "There's even more you need to know." I pressed a hand to my forehead. "Please, just say it." When Bella arrived, she was healthy at first, but she deteriorated quickly. My chest tightened. "She was in that shelter for 2 full years, Shelby." The room blurred. "She developed anxiety from isolation, began pacing nonstop. She became underweight. Her coat got dull. She flinched when people reached toward her." My eyes burned. "Twice," Dana said softly. "She was scheduled for euthanasia." A quiet, strangled noise escaped me. The first time, she got kennel cough and the shelter was overcrowded. A volunteer advocated for her, saved her. "And the second?" I croaked. "A potential adopter reached into her kennel too quickly. She nipped him, broke skin. She was terrified. After that, she was flagged as aggressive, placed on the youth list again." My hands shook uncontrollably. "But," Dana continued, "a rescue organization pulled her, literally the day before it was supposed to happen. They recognized she wasn't aggressive, just traumatized." My lungs wouldn't work right. "She's been in a foster home for 3 years, Dana said. "They worked with her, slowly, patiently, and she's alive. She's safe." Alive. That word shattered me. I let out a shaking breath, tears slipping down my face. "Can I see her?" There was no hesitation in Dana's answer. "I'll give the rescue coordinator your number. They'll call you." The rescue coordinator, a woman named Andrea, called that same afternoon. "Shelby," she said gently, "I need you to understand. She's doing better, but she's still nervous around strangers." "That's okay," I said immediately. "I don't care how she acts. I just want to see her." Andrea paused. "Send me proof of ownership, photos, vet records, anything that shows you're who you say you are." I sent everything. Every puppy photo, every medical receipt with my name, even screenshots of old texts where I'd told my mom I'd be back in June. 2 weeks later, Andrea called back. "The foster family is willing to meet you," she said. "This Saturday. Are you free?" "Yes," I said instantly. "I'll be there." Saturday afternoon, I drove to a quiet neighborhood in a nearby town. My hands were shaking so violently I had to grip the steering wheel to keep them steady. What if she didn't recognize me? What if she was scared of me? What if the years had erased me from her? But what if they didn't? A woman in her 50s, Karen, opened the door with kind eyes and soft lines on her face. "Shelby?" "Yeah," I said, voice trembling. "Hi." "She's in the backyard," Karen whispered. "Come in." I walked through the house like I was underwater. My heart beat so loudly I swore Karen could hear it. We reached the sliding glass door. Through the clear pane, I saw her. Bella. Thinner. Older. Gray around the muzzle. But Bella. My knees almost gave out. Karen slid open the door. "Bella, come here, girl." Bella looked up casually and started walking toward the door. Then she froze. Her eyes locked onto mine. Her ears twitched. Her tail stilled. Her body went rigid. I knelt down slowly. "Hey, Bella," I whispered. "It's me." For one long, silent second, she didn't move. Then, her tail twitched, then wagged, then turned into a blur. Then her whole body began trembling with this frantic, overwhelmed excitement that was almost painful to watch. She let out a sound, half whimper, half cry, and launched herself at me. She ran so fast she crashed into my chest, knocking me onto the patio. And then she was everywhere, licking my face, pressing her head under my chin, crawling onto my lap, even though she was far too big, letting out those desperate, broken sounds dogs make when relief is too big to hold inside. I wrapped my arms around her and sobbed into her fur. "Oh my God," Karen whispered behind me. "She's never done that before, ever." Andrea wiped her eyes. Bella refused to let me go. Every time I tried to pull back even a little, she pushed closer, burying her face against me like she feared I'd vanish again. She remembered me. After 5 years, she remembered. We did the paperwork, updated the microchip, signed foster to owner transfer documents. And then I took her home. She sat in the back seat on the drive, head resting on the center console, eyes fixed on me the entire time, like she had to keep me in sight or risk losing me again. When we got home, she followed me into every room. Kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. She refused to let me out of her sight for even a second. That first night, she curled up against me in bed, all 70 pounds of her pressed so tightly against my ribs I could barely breathe. I didn't dare move her. She was home, finally, after 5 years. And that's when it hit me with full, brutal clarity. My mother hadn't made a mistake. She hadn't been overwhelmed. She hadn't done what she thought was right. She had dumped Bella at a kill shelter, signed the papers, walked away, and then lied to me for 5 years, telling me my dog was thriving in a nice home with kids, while Bella was starving, suffering, terrified, and nearly killed. And now, sitting in my parents' living room at Christmas, with all of them staring at me in shock, I unlocked my phone, opened the folder, found the shelter intake form with Patricia Lopez's signature. If Mom wanted to remember Bella, then she would remember everything. The room felt too warm, too quiet. Everyone was staring at me, like I'd dropped a grenade onto the Christmas tree. Mom swallowed hard. "Shelby, sweetheart, what exactly are you talking about?" I didn't answer her immediately. Instead, I tapped my phone screen and pulled up the PDF I'd memorized, the shelter intake form. I turned the screen toward her. Her eyes flicked down. She froze. Her face drained so fast it was like watching someone's soul walk out of their body. Where did you get this?" Mom whispered. "The shelter," I said. "Public record." She stared, jaw trembling. The words Patricia Lopez sat there in bold print beside owner surrender. "That's your signature, isn't it?" She didn't speak, didn't blink. Emily gasped softly. "Mom?" Dad shifted in his recliner. "Shelby, that's enough." "No," I said. "It's nowhere near enough." I stood up, phone still in hand. My voice stayed low, steady, not yelling. Somehow that made everyone more afraid. "You told me you found her a loving family," I said. "With kids, a yard. You repeated that lie for 5 years." Mom pressed a trembling hand to her mouth. I thought—" "You thought what?" I cut in. "That I'd never find out?" Kyle leaned forward from his seat. "Sis, seriously, this is intense. Maybe we should—" "Stay out of it, Kyle," I said without looking at him. Mom blinked fast. "Shelby, I didn't know she'd stay there so long. I thought shelters find homes." "She was there for 2 years," I said, "in a concrete kennel, alone." Dad sat up straight. "We didn't know it was—" "A kill shelter?" I asked quietly. "You didn't know the county shelter was a kill shelter? Come on." Dad's mouth pressed shut. I swiped to the next document. Bella's medical and behavioral reports from the day the rescue pulled her out. "Since you don't seem to understand what you did to her," I said, "let me help." And I read, out loud. Dog exhibits severe anxiety, paces constantly, underweight, coat dull, flinches when approached. Aunt Linda covered her mouth. I kept reading. Signs of long-term kennel stress, fear-based reactivity, potentially unadoptable. The room was dead quiet. Then I read the last line. Emily made a choked sound. Mom shook her head violently. No, no, stop. You stop, I said sharply. Stop pretending you didn't do this. Stop acting like this is some misunderstanding. Mom's voice cracked. I never meant. But you did, I said. You drove her to the shelter. You signed her away. You walked out. And you didn't call. You didn't check. You didn't ask for 5 years. Dad stood, voice stern. Shelby, that's enough. Your mother is upset. Good, I said. She should be. Don't talk to her like that, he snapped. Don't worry, I said. I'm not the one who abandoned anyone. He flinched. Emily whispered, Shelby, what happened? What did they tell you? I slipped to the next file, a video thumbnail. Oh, I murmured. You'll want to see this. I tapped the video, the one Karen had filmed during my reunion with Bella. The moment Bella recognized me, her body shaking, that sound she made, raw, desperate, relieved, terrified all at once. Her throwing herself onto me like she needed to physically fuse herself to my chest just to survive. Karen's voice in the background. Oh my God, she's never done that before. The video ended. Mom sobbed. Hard. Emily cried quietly. Aunt Linda dabbed her eyes. Kyle looked away. Dad clenched his jaw. Shelby, you're beating a dead horse. What's the point of dragging this out? The point, I repeated slowly, the point is that you were willing to let Bella die because she was inconvenient for 90 days. Mom's cry turned into a strangled wail. Shelby, please, please stop saying that. Why? I asked. It's the truth. Shelby, Emily whispered through tears, can you please sit down? No, I said calmly. I'm done sitting down. I slid my phone into my pocket and grabbed my coat from the back of the chair. Mom shot up, reaching out helplessly. Where are you going? Home, I said simply. To my dog. You're leaving? Dad demanded. On Christmas? Yeah, I said. I'm spending it with someone who actually loves me. Mom staggered toward me, tears streaking her face. Shelby, please, we can talk about this privately. We just did, I said without looking at her. I mean, really talk. I have nothing else to say to you. Mom sobbed harder. Shelby, I'm your mother. And Bella was my dog, I said quietly. My family, and you threw her away. Mom shook her head desperately. I didn't think. That's the problem, I said. You didn't think. You just acted. Kyle stood up. Sis, don't leave like this. I looked at him, at Emily, at my parents, at the people who let Bella rot in a cage. Like what? I asked softly. Honest? Kyle's expression crumpled. Shelby, Mom whispered, voice shredded. Can I at least see her one day? Just to know she's okay? I opened the front door. Cold winter air rushed in. No, I said. Please, she begged. Just a photo, a video, something. You had 5 years, I said. You didn't check once. You don't get to pretend you care now. Dad barked. You're really going to throw away your family over a dog? I paused in the doorway. No, I said. I'm walking away from people who threw me away. And I left. Bella greeted me at home like the sun rising after a long winter. Tail wagging, eyes bright, pressing her head into my stomach like she was saying, don't disappear again. I knelt and kissed her head. Hey, baby, I missed you. The dog sitter gathered her coat. She was perfect, by the way. And Shelby? Yeah? I saw the reunion video. It's beautiful. I frowned. How? Your mom posted it in your family group chat. Emily shared it to Facebook. My blood went cold. Of course. Of course she'd make herself the victim. Of course they'd all comfort her. After the sitter left, I pulled up the muted group chat. Mom had sent a long message under the video. I never knew. I thought she was adopted. Please forgive me. Comments. Emily. It's okay, Mom. Kyle. Everyone makes mistakes. Aunt Linda. Don't be so hard on yourself. Dad. Shelby is just emotional. She'll get over it. I closed the app. Deleted it. Turned off my phone completely. Bella curled into my lap, sighing deeply. I've got you, I whispered, stroking her fur, and no one will ever take you from me again. Her tail thumped softly. Outside, snow fell against the windows. Inside, we were finally safe. For the next few days, my phone might as well have been a ticking bomb. Even with notifications turned off, I could feel the buzzing, like tiny punches against the countertop where I left it face down. Texts, voicemails, missed calls, family group messages, Facebook tags, the whole emotional circus. On the morning of December 26th, curiosity made me turn it back on. The messages flooded in. Mom, Shelby, please call me. I didn't sleep at all. I'm sick over this. Dad, enough. You've made your point. Call your mother. Emily, Mom's a wreck, Shelby. Please, at least talk to her. Kyle, dude, it's been 24 hours. Move on. Aunt Linda, family forgives. Don't be cruel. Uncle Jim. Okay, you're upset. We get it. But dragging this out is unnecessary. Not one of them said, what your mom did to Bella was horrible. You were right. We're sorry. Not one. I powered off my phone. Bella put her head on my lap, sensing my tension. Yeah, I whispered. I know, girl. People are complicated. Dogs aren't. 3 days later, the doorbell rang. Bella barked happily. She always liked my sister. Emily stood on the porch, red-eyed, wrapped in a puffy coat, shivering. Hey, she said, can I come in? I hesitated, then sighed. Yeah. Bella wiggled all over, pressing against her legs. Emily knelt to scratch her ears. She looks good, Emily murmured. Really good. She is. We sat on the couch. Bella climbed between us like a furry armrest. Emily bit her lip. Mom's not doing well. I didn't respond. She can't sleep, Emily continued. She barely eats. Dad says she cries every night. Good, I said quietly. She should. Emily flinched. Shelby, you don't mean that. I absolutely do. Emily looked down at Bella, stroking her fur in slow motions. I didn't know she was suffering like that, she whispered. When Mom and Dad watched her that first month, she seemed stressed. She paced a lot. I felt a sharp stab in my chest. You saw that? Yeah, Emily said. I told Mom she should let Bella inside more, let her feel safe. What did she say? That Bella was fine, that she was just adjusting. My jaw clenched. She lied to me. She lied to you. She lied to Dad. Emily swallowed. I don't think Dad ever questioned her. That's part of the problem, I said. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Emily whispered, I believe you. I believe everything you said at Christmas. I wish it wasn't true. So do I. Emily scratched Bella's ear again. What do you want, Shelby? An apology? She's given you 100. I don't want an apology, I said. I want her to understand what she did. She does, Emily insisted. She knows she messed up. No, I said. She knows she got caught. That's different. Emily winced. So what? She whispered. You're never going to speak to her again? I don't know, I said honestly. Right now? Yeah, that's the plan. Emily blinked rapidly. That's really sad. What's sad, I countered, is Bella's medical notes. Her fear, her scars, the nights she spent alone in a kennel wondering where I was. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Okay, I get it. It was horrible. But holding on to this anger? I'm not holding on to anger, I said. I'm holding on to boundaries. What's the difference? Anger wants revenge, I said. Boundaries want protection. Emily didn't argue with that. Bella shifted, placing her head on Emily's thigh. Emily smiled through tears. I wish I'd checked more, she whispered. I wish I'd questioned Mom. I wish, I don't know, done something. That surprised me, and softened something inside me. Thank you, I said. That means something. Emily exhaled shakily. Please, just think about it. Don't close the door forever. I'm not closing it, I said. I'm just not walking through it right now. Emily nodded, then stood. Okay, that's fair. Before she left, she hugged me. A long, shaky hug. Love you, she whispered. Love you too. After she left, Bella crawled into my lap. See, I sighed. You're my reasonable family. Bella thumped her tail once. A month later, a small cardboard box arrived on my porch. From Mom. I almost threw it away unopened, but something made me bring it inside. Inside was a framed photo. Me and Bella. She was about 2 years old in the picture. Tongue out, smiling, sitting crookedly because she hated posing for photos. There was a card. I know you won't forgive me. I understand. But I wanted you to have this. I'm sorry for everything. Mom. I put the photo on my dresser. I threw the card away. February came. Kyle turned 30. Family group chat invitation. 2:00 p.m. Saturday. Party at Mom and Dad's. Everybody bring food. Then Emily added, Shelby, please come. It would mean a lot to Kyle. I didn't respond. On Saturday, instead of driving to my parents' house, I took Bella to the dog park, watched her run, watched her ears flop, watched her joy. My phone buzzed nonstop in my pocket. Later, I turned it on. Kyle, really? You couldn't show up for your brother? Emily, this is getting petty. Please don't punish everyone. Dad, your brother deserves better. Mom, I miss you. And then a message from Kyle's wife, Jennifer. Hey, I get it. Whatever's going on with your mom, that's between you two. But Kyle was hurt today. Just wanted you to know. I replied, Tell Kyle I'm sorry. I'll take him out for dinner. Just us. When's he free? Jennifer answered immediately. Really? Thursday works. He'll appreciate it. Thursday came. Kyle and I sat across from each other in a little Italian restaurant. He looked tired. So, he said, you didn't come to my party. No, I said, I didn't. Because of Mom? Because of Mom, I repeated. Kyle sighed. Look, what she did was messed up. I get that. But Shelby, months have passed. And? And how long are you going to punish her? I'm not punishing her, I said. I'm protecting myself. From what? She apologized. She feels terrible. I don't care how she feels, I said. I care about what she did. Kyle leaned back frustrated. So you're going to avoid every family gathering she's at? Yes. That's not sustainable. It is, I said calmly. You just don't like the answer. Kyle stared at me for a long moment. You're being stubborn. Probably, I said. But so is everyone who keeps telling me to get over it. He didn't have a response. We talked about neutral things after that. His job, the baby he and Jennifer wanted to have one day, shows we were watching. When the bill came, he grabbed it. Birthday gift, he said, since you missed the party. Before we left, he hugged me. Awkward, but sincere. Take care of yourself, he murmured. And Bella. I will. 6 months after Christmas, Emily called. Dad's having minor surgery, nothing huge, but Mom's scared. Okay, I said. She wants you at the hospital. No. Shelby, please. You don't even have to talk to her. But I'd have to see her, I said. Be in the same room, pretend things are normal, and they're not. Emily let out a heavy breath. When will things be normal then? I don't know, I said. Maybe never. That's not fair to the rest of us. What's not fair, I said, is everyone expecting me to get over being lied to for 5 years. Emily was quiet. Finally, she whispered, Okay, I'll tell them you can't make it. Thank you. But Shelby, you can't avoid her forever. Watch me, I said softly. She hung up. Bella rested her head on my leg, eyes soft and concerned. No, I whispered, rubbing her ears. I'm not being dramatic. She thumped her tail once. I stared out the window at the quiet street, letting the truth settle into my bones. I didn't know if I'd ever forgive my mother. Maybe time would change things, or maybe it wouldn't. But for the first time in my life, I was learning something important. Forgiveness was optional. Boundaries were survival. And I didn't owe anyone access to me, not even family. Bella was 12 when the changes started. It was subtle at first. Slower mornings, stiff legs, softer snores. Then more naps, shorter walks, her hips protesting when she lay down too fast. I bought her a ramp for the bed so she didn't have to jump. I warmed her food. I carried her down the porch steps on cold mornings. She still smiled. She still followed me everywhere. She still pressed her head into my stomach whenever I sat down, like she needed physical contact to feel anchored. But age was catching her, and I could feel it, every minute slipping between my fingers. One evening, while I sat on the back porch watching Bella sniff around the yard slowly, my phone rang. It was Kyle. I answered. Hey. He sounded happier than I'd heard in a long time. Shelbs, I have news. Jennifer's pregnant. My face softened. Kyle, that's amazing. Congratulations. Thanks, we're excited. A pause, then softer. Terrified too. We talked names, nursery colors, how Jennifer was craving oranges. He laughed. I laughed. For a moment, everything felt simple again. Then his tone shifted. Listen, I'm not calling to guilt you about Mom. I promise. He exhaled. I'm going to want my kid to know her aunt. My chest tightened. I want that too, I said honestly. You can meet her whenever you want, Kyle said, even if Mom's not around. Even if you never talk to her, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I swallowed, thank you, that means a lot. And it did. After we hung up, I looked at Bella. You hear that? You might get to meet a new baby soon. Her tail wagged. As the sun set behind her, I felt something like hope tug at my ribs. Tiny, but real. When fall rolled in again, Emily texted. Small Christmas this year. Just me, Kyle, Jennifer, and the baby. Mom and Dad are doing their own thing. Would you come, please? I stared at the message for a long time, then typed, Just you guys, no Mom or Dad? Just us, she promised. I typed, Okay, I'll come, Bella too. Emily responded instantly. Really, thank you. Christmas at Emily's was exactly what I needed and never knew I wanted. Warm, quiet, safe. We ate too much. Opened presents slowly. Talked about mundane things. Bills, shows, diapers, sleep schedules. No tension, no guilt, no pretending. It was the first time I'd felt at peace with my family in years. Driving home that night, Bella asleep in the back seat, I felt something loosen in my chest. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation. Something gentler. Recognition. That family was not always about blood. That sometimes you could rebuild in smaller pieces. That staying away from toxic people didn't mean staying away from everyone. Bella passed away the following spring. One quiet morning, she just didn't wake up. She lay curled next to me on the bed, her body warm, peaceful. as if she'd simply drifted into a dream she didn't need to return from. The silence that followed was unbearable. I held her for hours, sobbing into her fur, telling her over and over what I hadn't said enough, how much she meant to me, how proud I was of her strength, how grateful I was that she waited for me, how sorry I was for ever leaving her at all, even if I hadn't known. Emily came when I called, Kyle and Jennifer too, even some neighbors who loved Bella from years of seeing her greet every mailman like they were long-lost friends. We buried her in the backyard under the maple tree where she loved to lie in the shade. I didn't invite Mom. This moment wasn't for people who had abandoned her. It was for the ones who'd loved her. After everyone left, I stayed by her grave until the sun went down. The grass felt damp beneath my knees. The wind was cold. And for the first time in years, I let myself break completely. "Thank you," I whispered into the soil, "for everything you gave me." A week later, flowers arrived. From Mom. The card was simple. "I'm so sorry for your loss. I know how much Bella meant to you. I'm sorry I didn't understand that sooner." I put the card in the drawer next to the long handwritten letter she'd sent months earlier. I didn't respond. But I didn't throw it away either. 6 months after losing Bella, the house felt too quiet, too still. So I went to the local rescue, just to look, I told myself. That's how I met Duke. A 9-year-old mixed breed with a gray muzzle, cloudy eyes, and a calm energy that felt like an old blanket on a cold day. Nobody wanted him because he was too old. I knelt beside his kennel. He leaned into me immediately, as if he'd been waiting for someone to choose him without hesitation. I adopted him the next morning. Duke wasn't a replacement. Nothing could replace Bella. But he was a continuation of something she taught me, that love is an action, a choice, a responsibility, and that choosing someone, really choosing them, can save their life. When Kyle brought Madison over to meet Duke, she squealed, grabbed his face, and giggled. Duke wagged his tail like he had known her forever. And for a brief moment, I felt Bella's presence. Not painful, not haunting. Warm, like approval, like she was saying, "Good, keep going." I never fully reconciled with Mom. We exchanged occasional holiday texts. Polite, short, distant. She respected my boundaries now. Didn't push, didn't guilt trip, didn't ask for more than I could give. Therapy changed her, but what she'd done didn't disappear. Some betrayals leave scars. They fade, but they don't vanish. And I learned that was okay. Forgiveness wasn't mandatory. Healing wasn't linear. And walking away from people who hurt you wasn't cruelty, it was survival. Bella taught me that, in her life and in her death. And sitting in my yard with Duke's head resting quietly on my knee, I realized something, with crystal clarity. I couldn't save Bella from those 2 years in hell, but I gave her the rest of her life back. And in return, she gave me mine.